The Home Secretary has finalised a new agreement on tackling illegal crossings, as we've been discussing this morning.
Yes, so there should be a 40% increase in the number of French officers patrolling beaches in northern France, as well as investment in port security to prevent illegal entry.
Well, before the break, we heard from the Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly. But what about the opposition? Well, we're joined now by the Shadow Minister for Immigration, Stephen Kinnock. A very good morning to you, Mr Kinnock. Good news, this? A good use of public money?
Well, it's too little too late. The Conservatives have had 12 years to get a grip on our asylum system. The Home Secretary herself has said the asylum system is broken, and we agree with her, and the Conservatives have broken it. We've got 37,000 asylum seekers in the hotels, costing the taxpayer £6 million a day. We've got under-resourcing of the National Crime Agency. We've had a breakdown in the relationship with France. And of course, it's good to see that there's some more constructive conversations going on now. But this is the sort of thing that should have been happening years ago. And of course, it's a big pull factor. The fact that the processing system is broken means that if someone wants to pay a people smuggler $10,000 to get on one of those small boats, they know that when they get to the UK, they will be left in the system for years, waiting for their case to be reviewed. So it's a safe bet, if you like. So get the asylum processing system fixed, and you remove a lot of the pull factor. Combine that with resourcing the National Crime Agency. We would do that by scrapping the unaffordable, unworkable and unethical Rwanda plan, and using that money to really fund an elite unit inside the National Crime Agency. So let's get the mechanics of government working, do the hard yards rather than chasing headlines and all the kind of gimmicks that this government has been trying for far too long now.
Hold on a minute, though. Hold on a minute. Whilst, no, I don't think anyone would argue with your fundamental point that actually the system here needs to be sorted out vigorously and quickly. The government says it is going to be looking at that, so we'll have to wait and see. However, this isn't a headline-grabbing move, is it, by the Home Secretary? This is something which will actually start to ease the burden on those asylum centres, on the hotels, on the processing centres. It's going to start to ease that burden pretty quickly.
Well, the jury's out. We really do hope that we'll see an increase in the number of interceptions. I'm not convinced enough is being done upstream to break the model of the business smugglers through using intelligence, resourcing the National Crime Agency properly. But really, one of the big gimmicks we've seen that simply isn't working is this Rwanda scheme, which we were told the mere threat of being sent to Rwanda. I know that the issue is currently held up in the courts, but the mere threat, we were told, of being sent to Rwanda would discourage people from trying to cross the channel. And yet we've seen since the Nationality and Borders Act became law, since the Rwanda plan was announced, we've seen the numbers of people trying to cross the channel on small boats going through the roof. So scrap that, stop all the gimmicks, stop all the headline chasing around that, and do the hard yards, the mechanics of getting the asylum processing system sorted and resourcing the NCA properly and having a proper deal with France, which also includes, of course, a returns agreement, because Boris Johnson completely failed to negotiate a successor to the Dublin Convention, which would have enabled us to send those who fail their asylum claims back to the first safe country in which they landed. And that's been a major pull factor as well, the fact that we haven't had a successor to the Dublin Convention.
Well, of course, the Dublin Agreement was hardly ever successfully used when we were still part of the European Union, which has been part of a huge reason why the British public have been so dissatisfied for years. And there is such a strong mandate from the British people to try and get a grip of this problem.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think anything that's costing the British taxpayer £6 million a day in hotel bills is clearly something that's broken, needs to get fixed, and people's concerns around this are absolutely understandable. I mean, it's the first duty of government to be able to secure our borders. But I just feel that a huge amount of time and energy and resources have been wasted on harebrained schemes that just haven't been working at all. So let's get back down to the nitty-gritty of government. Let's get that constructive relationship with France, and let's move forward. Frankly, the only way we're going to get that is with a Labour government, because we've had now this revolving door of chaos in the Conservative Party. We've lost count of the number of Home Secretaries and Prime Ministers that we've had. So little wonder that it's been impossible to get a clear strategy and plan in place when you have that level of chaos at the top of government.
OK, Stephen Kinnock, really good to talk to you this morning. Thanks very much.